You know that feeling? That dull, persistent ache that just seems to hang around? But what is actually going on inside our bodies when we hurt? Well, today we're going to break it all down, from a simple muscle strain all the way to what happens when pain becomes a chronic condition.
It's a question every single one of us has asked at some point. Maybe it's after a really tough workout, or when you're sick with a fever, or sometimes you feel it and you have no idea why. It's one of the most basic ways our body tries to talk to us. And yeah, it's an experience we all share, but the reasons behind our aches can be completely different. Most of the time, the cause is pretty simple, and it goes away. But every now and then, that ache is a sign of something a bit more complicated. So let's start with the basics. Okay, let's look at the usual suspects. Take stress, for instance. It kicks in our fight-or-flight response, which makes our muscles tense up and, yep, ache. Not drinking enough water can lead to cramps, and not getting enough sleep, well, that just robs our body of its time to repair itself. And that awful, all-over achy feeling you get with the flu, that's just widespread inflammation from your immune system going to war.
All of this is what we call acute pain. The best way to think about it is like your body's built-in alarm system. It's a signal, right? It's telling you, hey, pay attention, slow down, drink some water, get some rest. And usually, once you fix the problem, the alarm turns right off.
So this is where it gets tricky. What happens when that alarm just doesn't shut off, even after the injury should have healed or the sickness is gone? That's when we move from a temporary problem to a much more persistent condition.
The official definition is actually pretty straightforward. According to the International Association for the Study of Pain, once an ache or pain sticks around for more than 3 months, it gets classified as chronic. And at that point, the pain isn't a helpful signal anymore. It's stopped being useful.
And this is the absolute key difference. Acute pain is a working alarm, right? It warns you about a real danger. But chronic pain, that's like a broken alarm that just will not shut off. It's still blaring long after the threat is gone. The pain itself becomes the problem.
And make no mistake, this is not some rare thing. That faulty alarm is ringing for a huge number of people. In the United States alone, some estimates say that about 1/3 of the entire population is dealing with some form of chronic pain.
So to really get a handle on chronic pain, experts have to classify it based on where it's coming from and what it feels like. Because not all long-term pain is the same, and figuring out the type is crucial for finding the right way to manage it.
It really breaks down into 3 main types. First, you've got nociceptive pain. That's the classic pain from damaged tissue like you'd get with arthritis. Then there's neuropathic pain, which comes from damage to the nerves themselves. That's why it often feels like burning or tingling. And finally, there's this really interesting one called nociplastic pain. This is where there's no clear injury, but the body's whole pain processing system is just oversensitive and misfiring.
And you can see how these pain types are linked to specific conditions. For instance, multiple sclerosis, or MS, affects the nervous system, which can cause that neuropathic pain, while arthritis is a textbook source of nociceptive pain in your joints.
You know, the impact of having a faulty alarm system going off 24/7 goes way beyond just the physical feeling. Chronic pain creates these ripples that end up affecting every single part of a person's life. The economic toll alone is just staggering. In the US, the annual cost of chronic pain, everything from doctor visits to people not being able to work, is estimated to be over $500 billion. That one number tells you just how widespread and debilitating this really is. But beyond the money, there's a massive impact on mental health. The link between pain and your mood is incredibly strong. In fact, studies show that pretty much half of all people who live with chronic pain also deal with depression. And the science shows us exactly why that is. It's not just a psychological thing, it's biological. The circuits in our brain that process physical pain actually overlap with the ones that manage our mood. They're literally wired together. And the ripple effects just keep going. Chronic pain can mess with your ability to think clearly, leading to what a lot of people call brain fog. It almost always messes up your sleep, and it can really strain relationships, leading to isolation.
So, okay, with all this complexity, how in the world is chronic pain managed? Well, there's no single cure, but that does not mean there isn't hope. The key is to use a comprehensive, team-based strategy.
See, effective management isn't about finding one magic bullet. It's all about combining different therapies from different kinds of health professionals. We're talking doctors, physical therapists, psychologists, and others all working together on the same team. This whole thing is called a multimodal strategy, which is just a fancy way of saying it attacks the pain from all angles.
You've got medical tools to manage the symptoms. Then psychological therapies, like CBT, that actually help retrain the brain's response to pain. Physical therapy helps build strength and improves function. And finally, you can add alternative approaches like acupuncture to the toolkit, which can provide a lot of relief for some people. And this right here highlights probably the biggest, most important shift in modern pain management. The whole goal now is to empower you, the patient, to be the leader of your own care team, to be an active, informed participant who helps figure out what works best for your life.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's really understanding that chronic pain isn't just a symptom of something else that's lasting a long time. It's a condition where the signaling system itself has gone haywire. Recognizing that the alarm itself is broken, that is the first, most critical step toward managing it, finding relief, and learning a new way to live.